coming up in heat number 1 of the Street Stocks will be Ryan Penfold in the 12 and the 83 of Stefan Majuri. Of course, he just had the pole dash. You're normally used to saying heat 2 of the Street Stocks when you've already had a Street Stock event, but this is heat number 1 of the Street Stocks. Josh Kennett out there in 717. 44 out of Albany is Peter Herbert. 24 for Able Contracting is Kate Munro. The 3 with 11 on the door is Stephen Kendall. The 3, the White Falcon for Cube, is Dave Herbert. The 9, who had all sorts of mechanical woes last night for KCLD Cleaning, is Kane Della. The 11 is CJ Flavel, who found the concrete wall on night number 1. And the 12, we just know him as Brigger, Paul Briggs. It was his birthday yesterday, they tell me, so I missed that one. Happy birthday, Brigger. He's had a lot of work to do on the Falcon just to get himself turned around here for night number 2. 10 starters. The first 5 across the line will automatically qualify for the coal miner. They won't have to come through the dreaded B main, which will come up during our second round of racing tonight. Herbert and Amajiri on the front row, 2 household surnames and Street Stocks here in the West. So they come off turn number 4. We're racing in the first of 2 heat races on night 2 of the coal miner, brought to you by the Collie Ridge Resort. And the Commodore from Albany and Peter Herbert will lead them through Cardinals Corner for the first of 10 occasions as they sail off into the sun, heading into turn number 3. Kate Munro with a good start, moves up in a second from Ryan Penfold, and Stefan Majuri has fell from the outside of the front row back to 4th. Stephen Kendall, Josh Kennett, Kane Della, Paul Briggs, Dave Herbert and CJ Flavel is the way they run. But car number 44, Peter Herbert, a veteran of Street Stock racing, has contested all the major blue ribbon events around WA, including he went up to Broome back in September for the Shinju Festival race meeting. Runs wide coming into the front straight. Nearly opened the door for Kate Munro to find a way past Ryan Penfold, Stefan Majuri and Stephen Kendall, your top 5. Kane Della sits outside of a transfer position at the moment in car number 9. As I speak, he looks to the inside of Steve Kendall. So he exit turn 2 and head down the back straight into turn number 3. Paul Briggs has come from the back of the bus. Of course, Paul, a non-finisher in one of our prelim features last night, so he's got a heap of work to do to try and get himself into the show tonight on night 2. Does Paul Briggs, the Good Guys Performance Falcon from here in Collie. Josh Kennett, Dave Herbert and CJ Flavel's the way they run as Kate Munro's had a big moment on the back straight. Fell back to 3rd place, bit of a touch on the back bumper from Amajiri, and he gets very untidy. Does Munro, Kane Della with nowhere to go, and a couple others taking evasive action, including Stephen Kendall and Josh Kennett. So a bit of damage for a couple of them. Flat right rear tyre for Josh Kennett. He'll unfortunately have to come through the B main. So Josh Kennett's race was going to be run here in heat number 1. We're halfway home. 5 down and 5 remaining. Paul Briggs getting caught up in it. So he's been in the wars this weekend as Paul Briggs. So Kane Della's going to be able to continue. So the only car we've lost from that incident is Josh Kennett. Cade Munro has been sent to the rear of the field for being the primary cause of the stoppage. As I mentioned, we're halfway home and we are taking the top 5 out of this heat race. Across the line they'll start positions 11 on back in our main event later tonight. Over 53 laps for the coal miner as we're back underway. And Peter Herbert just hugging the pole line, knows he doesn't have to do anything silly here, and he'll get himself into tonight's main event. He's holding off another former Albany resident in Ryan Penfold, who does a lot of his racing at Ellenbrook these days. He sits in second as it's getting very willing between Kendall and Della coming into the front straight. Stephen Kendall climbing the concrete wall, and the 3 car falling back through the field. A lot of work to do. Kane Della now into that 5th and final transfer position from Kate Munro. David Herbert and CJ Flavel just battling further back ahead of Stephen Kendall. But up front, it's your leader for the Forest Windscreens Commodore is Peter Herbert from Ryan Penfold. Stefan Majuri comfortably in a transfer position, as is Collie's Paul Briggs. As I mentioned, started at the back of the bus in this heat race. Had to completely replace the whole left front corner, he tells me, on the Falcon overnight to be able to race here this evening on his home track. Sits in 4th from Kane Della. Kate Munro is outside looking in car number 24 with 2 laps remaining. And Ryan Penfold trying to find a way past Peter Herbert, but knows the story. It's not vital. He's got 53 laps to do it. If he just stays in the position that he currently runs, Paul Briggs throwing everything at a fellow Falcon campaigner in Stefan Magiri. So greet the white flag. Kane Della in that final transfer position. Our leaders will exit turn 2 and head down the back straight for the final time. And the Forest Windscreens Commodore from Albany. And Peter Herbert is going to do enough to record the victories. He comes off turn number 4 and will qualify for tonight's Coal Miner 53. Gets it done from Penfold, Amagiri, Briggs and Della. They'll be the 5 drivers transferring through. Going via the B main will be Cade Munro, Stephen Kendall, CJ Flavel in the 11 and the 3 of Dave Herbert, along with the 717 of Josh Kennett, who was out on lap number 5. They'll be the 5 that miss out. So 5 go through and 5 miss out. Let's have a round of applause for them, ladies and gentlemen. Those 5 drivers transferring through once again. Peter Herbert in 44, the 12 of Ryan Penfold, 83 Stefan Magiri, 12 of Collie's Paul Briggs, and the 9 out of Kalgoorlie Boulder in Kane Della for KCLD, cleaning up there in the goldfields. There your 5 going through. Quick time of the race was a 21.396, which actually belonged to Kane Della back in 5th place. And the winning margin for Herbert over Penfold, just 0.343 of a second.